Good morning. This reading is for Leo for October 2019. Yes, I know it's late. I'm sorry to my Leos and Virgos. Managed to get the other readings up kind of on time, but I'm new to YouTube and doing all the zodiacs took longer than I expected, and then I'm having computer problems, so still getting things sorted out, but thank you for your patience. These readings are general reads for the collective who have that zodiac sign, your sun, moon, rising, and Venus. Kitty cat is just playing behind the curtain. Yes, so when you come across these readings, I believe in divine timing. When you find it, that's when it's right for you. Don't worry so much about the month. If you find this, all the way in January, but the title resonates with you, it's great, then it's for you. Everything with a grain of salt, of course. You have free will. This is just some guidance and suggestions from Spirit, the universe, whatever you want to call it. If you're looking for more precise information that is tailored to you and your questions or your needs, you'll need a private reading, so you can reach out to me or any other reader for that. Also, what was in my spiel before? Now I've forgotten. It's been a while. Anyways, so just remember you have free will. You can make your own decisions. You can do whatever you like with the information. But take what you can, leave the rest. If it doesn't resonate for you, that's okay. I'm tapped into someone else's story. There's lots of readers online. If it seems resonant to someone else's situation that you know, feel free to pass it on. Don't worry so much about the zodiac sign. So this reading is going to be for Leo. We already have a couple cards out. They came flying out when I tried to record this before, but I started stumbling over my words, and so interesting. Okay. So I've got some cards out here, but I am going to do clarifications so that we know what's up. But I'm not surprised that the card that came flying out before I was even ready was the shadow card. So everyone's pretty much gotten this one for the month of October. We're definitely diving into our shadow work here. So this is, I believe, it coordinates or is analogous to the moon card, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So essentially the shadow, so I study psychology, and essentially the shadow is a concept that was coined by Carl Jung. So he was an academic and a psychologist who really dove into the concept of archetypes, which of course is exactly what the tarot is based in, and named something called the collective unconscious, which essentially already existed. He just gave it a name, and that is this common knowledge that all of us have. It's an innate knowledge that all of us have as members of humanity. It's things that I would say that as you are sort of stepping into your awakening process, it's like heart wisdom versus head knowledge. So heart wisdom, the collective unconscious, it's almost like you can talk about something, a problem that you might be having and seeking answers. And then at the end of a big long conversation with your best friend, for example, you might say, but deep down I know I have to do this, even if it's something that you don't really accept. And deep down is essentially the collective unconscious, right? And our journey in awakening is bringing the unconscious into consciousness and then reintegrating it. So that's what the shadow is all about. The shadow is not a scary place. It is a place inside of us. It's not separate from us. And it's essentially where when we were growing up, when certain behaviors or aspects of ourselves were rejected by others, so potentially family members, parents, caregivers, whomever your family of origin was, or peer group, rejected certain aspects of you, and then your primal brain, who's only function is safety and survival, would think that if you did those things, you would be rejected from your tribe, and essentially lead to death, like through starvation, right? Because we were interdependent people, you know? So shadow work is really important, because what it is it's a process of going into this part of the psyche and recovering the lost self, parts that were rejected by others, so eventually were rejected by you and then replaced with a false self. And then essentially that will get rejected as well, and it creates shadow aspects. So digging around in the shadow is actually digging around in the dark for gems. You're looking for, it's like mining for gems, things that are a part of you, things that are actually not necessarily so bad. There are parts of the shadow as well that we don't want to accept, that we might deem as bad. So maybe there's a greedy part of you. I have a greedy part of myself. You have to go into the shadow and accept that part, and bring it back into the light and integrate it. And we do that through self-acceptance, right? So anyways, long story short, the shadow, theme of everyone's read pretty much. So Leos, you're working on the heart chakra, and that really did seem quite resonant when I was sort of meditating on your zodiac sign. I get the sense that there's been some heart chakra healing that needed to happen and is happening, but we're feeling more hopeful. But I really started to tap into sort of kind of like a feeling of confusion. I don't know what we're confused about, but Leos seem like they've been feeling like they're kind of going in circles lately. It's not really bad. It's not necessarily going through something like deep sadness or depression. It's just confusion. What am I doing? What am I supposed to be focusing on? What is happening? Maybe being distracted by matters of the heart. Never know. But also accepting that whatever process that you're going through right now is, and this is, this card also represents the Wheel of Fortune. It's the Destiny card. So, and you can see that she's holding her chest right there. So it really is about coming into that heart wisdom, getting deep down and dirty into your shadow and figuring out what it is that you stand for. And that is going to allow this person here to sort of rotate from, not really existing, not really knowing what she wants, moving until she locks into this place that is your destiny. So it really is about focusing on you. It really is about focusing on you. And there's potential that comes through a certain type of sacrifice. We have our sacrifice card here. And it's the releasing of something. It might be letting go of a relationship, and this could be romantic, but it also could be friendship or familial. It might be the release of someone who you don't even necessarily have to be in contact with them. You don't even necessarily have to be around them, but it's been taking up a lot of energy in the heart space for a really long time. And it's coming to a place where you are feeding your own needs so much with love that you're able to make that sacrifice and let them go. And this is going to help lead you also into that really strong, see, she's sort of in this pillar of light once she comes into her heart knowledge. And please don't worry so much about the gender. There's a woman on this card, but she represents just individuals in general. So whatever your gender identity, that's fine. So there's a sacrifice that needs to be made. And what's really, really interesting is that, so the ones with the black border are major arcana. So that's what our destiny and our sacrifice card are. Major arcana speak to inner knowledge and knowing. This is actually the fool's journey, or the hero or heroine's journey. This is the path to enlightenment, whereas the other cards of the other suits are more general things that are going on in your everyday life. So there's a very big process that's happening right now. It has to do with heart chakra healing. And I know that sounds very general, but if you can think about in your life how that is manifesting, I'm sure that you'll be able to tap into it. It's like, has there been a heartbreak in the past that now in a current situation is starting to resurface and you realize, oh my gosh, like even if I don't necessarily care about that person that much anymore, there's so much heart healing that still has to happen. I thought I had gotten through this. It could be triggered by a new relationship, a new scenario, and there's a real releasing that needs to happen in order to move forward, which is pretty funny because our next card is the accelerated motion card, but we'll get to that in a second. The sacrifice card is technically related to the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man in the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck is about an enlightened pause. It is choosing to take a moment to really reflect on what's going on in your life and on your spiritual journey before you make a certain decision. There isn't a decision card here, so I don't necessarily think that you are making a huge life choice in the 3D everyday reality, but on the spiritual path, you are considering the release of certain things in order to step into your destiny. And this is really important. This is huge. This is heart chakra healing in order to move into who you really are. And that can be really quite scary sometimes. Now, I know that my Leos aren't often afraid of things. They're very powerful, fiery, tapped into what they want. But maybe there is more of a question right now of not what you want, it's who am I? And what do I need to release and sacrifice in order to step into that destiny. And when you do, there is accelerated motion. So this is the Eight of Wands energy. It's fiery energy, things moving fast like that comet, shooting star. But at this point, I get the sense that you are more like this individual here. You're thinking about it, you're wanting that forward movement, but there's something that you have to do first in order to really heal that heart. It's interesting because we've got two figures here. We've got our destiny card with her hands over her heart, and then after the accelerated motion card, we have emotional loss. Okay, so this is the Five of Cups energy, which is usually in the traditional deck a figure looking down, has a dark cloak, is looking down at three spilled cups and is not looking at the two that are still upright. And cups are water energy. They represent the realm of love and emotion, flow. It's really the emotional space. There's a grieving process that seems to be happening. I feel that it's not super duper dark and heavy, but we will clarify these cards. But emotional loss, something has to be let go, and it is not an easy process for you, Leo. It is essential in order for you to have the heart chakra healing and step into your destiny. This is very, very important. And I think that the advice in this moment truly is just to, pay attention to the sacrifice card, which is, it sounds so big, sacrifice, it's a big word, but it really is just the Hanged Man card. So maybe it's sacrificing this like really strong drive for forward movement and instead making a sacrifice of just like, I go into hermit mode, which I imagine for Leos that can be really, really hard. You're fiery, you're passionate, you want to like go, manifest, make things happen. And I think that perhaps instead of looking at the situation as a blockage and a huge loss, it's like give yourself time to process this heart healing, potentially this heartbreak, or this re-triggering of past heartbreak in the current situation. There's a little bit of trauma there. There's something that needs to come up and have its cycle completed so that you don't keep coming back around over and over and over again into the same behaviors and the same frustrations manifesting in different relationships with different new people, but it's like the same stuff over and over again. We don't want that, and that's often what happens when we're being invited by the universe to learn a lesson, but we seem to not be catching on to that. So we're going to go get some clarifications from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck here. Let's clarify the heart chakra card for Leo, October 2019. What does Leo need to know? hope you like my pajamas. I'm wearing my Hugs pajamas today. They're quite cute, actually. I hope my Leos like this. Check that out. Oh, yeah. I'm a Martian. I love it. Big fan. Anyways. Uh-oh. Now I've lost you. Where'd you go? There you go. What do my Leos need to know about their heart chakra? Ooh. Almost came out. Didn't come out. What do my Leos? Interesting. It didn't come out upside down. It didn't come out right side up. It came out sideways. Queen of Cups. My emotional maturity, emotional intelligence, pretty much the goddess of the emotional realm. This is an individual who has really done the work, has healed most things, and even if she still experiences the rise and fall of the water and the emotions around her, she's super duper grounded. Like, that throne isn't going anywhere. So, I mean, the important thing about this is to recognize that it came out sideways. So my Leos perhaps had a feeling that they had moved on from something, that something was complete, a relationship, a cycle, a trauma that they thought was healed, and here it is coming out again and coming out sideways. Being like, maybe I don't have the emotional mastery on this particular topic, so don't get yourself down, as much as you thought. And that's okay. That's okay. But there's a trigger right now, and that's relevant to the heart chakra. Okay, so just be aware. Just be aware and be patient and compassionate with yourself. Let's find out some more information about the Destiny card. What do my Leos need to know about the Destiny card in October? Whoa, that's so many cards. I'm not taking all of those. Woo. That tried to come out before, and then it didn't. It flipped back. Interesting. Destiny. Ace of Pentacles, but it came out in reverse. I don't usually do reversals, but when they come flying out like that, I'm like, okay. Ace of Pentacles. So it's like Ace of Pentacles can be an offering, something coming through, an opportunity to do with the body. Pentacles also represent institution, education, and employment and finances. But I believe that whatever this situation is with the emotional realm and the heart chakra really needing some attention right now, this is really causing a blockage to your manifest destiny. Destiny is such an intense card. Destiny. There's a blockage. There's a blockage to the pentacle energy coming through, but it wants to. Just like the card almost came out underneath the heart chakra card. I saw it. It sort of flipped, and then it flipped back, and I was like, oh, interesting, the Ace of Pentacles. It wants to come, but it can't because there's something going on with the heart chakra that is tied up with your ability to move forward. We'll probably see some sort of clarification with the accelerated motion card. You really, really want to start something new project, new career, new business. Maybe it's to do with health. That's a possibility for some. Definitely wouldn't want to, forget about that. But I really do get the sense that it's like moving forward with that destiny requires, I get the feeling that it really is business, maybe brand building, and it's based around who you are and what you offer, but you can't offer it completely, fully, in the way that you want right now because of matters of the heart. That's just something that's like getting in the way. So we will take heart in the fact that these cards tend to write themselves, but let's get some clarification of the sacrifice card. Clear as mud, right? Clear as mud. If you want clarification, you can contact me for a private read. Okay, so the sacrifice card, which is the Hanged Man, the Lovers, came out underneath. So yes, matters of the heart. We are in a phase of contemplation. I don't know if this is an active relationship for you, if this is a past relationship, someone's coming back in potentially. The Lovers, it's so funny in this deck, like the term sacrifice doesn't align for me with the Hanged Man. So it's sort of like, I guess we'll just go with what this deck is talking about, where it's like things have to be shed in order for you to really step into that destiny. And it's like, maybe there will be no clarification. Maybe what's happening is there's a relationship that you're currently considering or exploring, and it's bringing up all these triggers from past relationship. And you're like, holy guacamole, this is not healed. I'm freaking out in the current relationship. And the sacrifice might just be the growth. It might just be letting go of the past hurts and being like, you know what, I have faith and love. Yes, I've been burned in the past, but I've changed, and therefore my next relationships are going to be better. I will allow only better things into my life. I do not believe that you manifest bad relationships into your life. Bad things and bad people come into our lives, and I don't think we bring that upon ourselves. I think that that's victim blaming, and it's really bad to say something like that. What I do believe is that as we shift and grow, we start to notice people who are more in alignment with who we are becoming, and they start to notice us as well. So perhaps they gravitate towards us, or if things that are not meant for you come into your life, they're usually there to teach you a lesson, sometimes in teaching you what you don't want. Kind of stinks, because they often come in the, in the form of very beautiful people that we feel like we want to spend the rest of our lives with, or like whatever it is, Leos. I know you're very passionate people. But sometimes a sacrifice has to be made in order for us to really, really step into our desires. Step into, and I don't just mean romantic desires, I mean like destiny kind of desires, stepping into that destiny and turning the pentacle energy back around, because it's upside down right now. And that's going to come from healing this sort of sideways emotional energy, really getting grounded in what you deserve, and therefore what you will allow to stay in your life. Maybe someone who's not treating you right or hasn't treated you right in the past is trying to make a comeback. Someone not treating you super well right now, and before you would have just gone for it because you really wanted to fill that, what we perceive as being the void that we need love put into. And it's like, well, actually, if you fill your own love bucket, if you fill your own cup, like the Ace of Cups is overflowing with love, and if you do that for yourself, it's not going to feel so much like a sacrifice if you have to cut somebody loose. Ooh, Leos, I like that. So, if you're in a process, you're thinking about it, matters of the heart, yeah, okay. So, accelerated motion. What does Leo need to, ooh, goodness gracious. Oh, that's funny. Okay, accelerate, let me get another card there. We kind of got the like go, go, go card, accelerated motion, followed by the complete stop card, which doesn't make tons of sense. That's way too many. Ooh. Okay. We've got what's happening and what we want. Under the accelerated motion card, which is our Eight of Wands, creativity, incoming messages being communicated, moving forward with like a lot of speed to the point where we're like, oh my gosh, this is overwhelming how quickly things are moving. But that can be really great if it's moving in the direction that we want. Not so great if it's moving in the direction that we don't want. We got two clarification cards. Our Four of Pentacles was the first card out. Now this can be emotional shutdown. Someone may be trying to communicate with you, but I don't get the feeling that that's what it is. It could be for some of you. This is shutting down to, maybe it's feeling like you can't invest in yourself, invest in something that you need in order to move forward with the creative project, the accelerated motion. Four of Pentacles is like, it can be emotionally closed off, but it's, Pentacle energy is mostly about finances as well. This just to me is screaming like shut down. Someone being faced, and it's funny because that pentacle is right over the heart area. someone feeling a little bit shut down right now about these heart issues and being like, but I want to let it drop. I want to move into my Nine of Pentacles. You know, she's worked very hard. She's enjoying the fruits of her labor. No, she's not the Queen of Pentacles, but like, we're not all millionaires, right? There's something to be said for enjoying simple pleasures and feeling extremely abundant. And you really want to move forward with this because you know that it's going to come from stepping into your creativity, maybe building that business, that brand, the new job, whatever it is. But you're like, you're really feeling stuck, feeling held back. And that is frustrating for our Leos. I think there's a bit of resistance in doing the heart healing. I think maybe just not wanting to look at those emotions, and yet it's like the emotions are flowing over you already. You're just like, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it. But, you know, Spirit's saying you have to deal with it if you want to move forward. Let's get some clarification for the emotional loss card. What is going on for Leo with the Five of Cups? Ooh, what's that? Ooh, interesting. Okay. The emotional loss card is clarified by the Eight of Wands. So I didn't think this was about communication. Every single reading this month has had something to do about blocked communication. And there it is. It doesn't have to be about communication, but it's about like, yeah, blockage to, so if our emotional loss card is being clarified by the Eight of Wands, it's like there's a deep desire for the movement forward with the creative project, or just being like, I want to step into my power. I want to be that light. I want to be fiery. And yet she's down here being like, but I'm still here in the dark, in the shadows. Why am I still in the shadows? Why do I feel like this? Feeling shut down, feeling like I need to protect my heart space. It's okay if you're feeling soft and squishy and you need to protect yourself, but don't protect and then go into resistance. You can't have the forward movement until you go and you do that healing work. Oh my goodness, Leos. Oh my goodness. So that's where the confusion is. That's where the confusion is. You know, clear as mud. Clear as mud. Okay, so we're going to go and use our teeny, tiny Wisdom of the Oracle deck here. Get some more information for Leo. What does Leo need to know? What does Leo need to know? For October 2019. Ooh, there it goes. Truth be told. Communication. Okay, so everyone is getting the same thing over and over again. Though I think Scorpios had it like a little bit more fiery and sexy. But anyways, lucky Scorpios if that's who it was. Truth be told. So either you need to speak your truth or your person needs to speak their truth in order to like release release the situation. There's also, take note, there's a mask. So either you putting down the mask and just being like, this is my truth, whether it be I am still in love with you, or you hurt me, or I am sorry that I hurt you, whatever that truth is. Truth be told, this is what's going to lead to some release. So you really need to contemplate, who is this speaking to? Is it you that needs to speak your truth, or are you waiting for someone else to speak theirs? Will they ever do it? I do not know. But conversation does need to be had for you to have some sort of release, whether or not you're going to converse with your person or you have a conversation with yourself. For some reason I'm going for another one. Oh my goodness gracious, we can't have all of those. Yeah. Wow, that's such a big theme for October. Big theme, communication. What else does Leo need to know right now? What's that? A change in the wind. Okay. Cloudy skies, but they're beginning to clear. There's light sort of near the top. Beautiful zebra. Oh my goodness, so gorgeous. Yeah. So the black and white definitely represents, you know, the shadow realm. shadow, moving into the light. You are fully capable. This is what we are working towards. I would say that this brings hope for you, Leo, if you are feeling a bit down in the dumps about this whole situation. A change is coming. A change is coming. Change in the wind. And it quite possibly is going to just blow you away. It might be really significant, whatever it is that's coming in for you. I don't know. I feel like I need one more from this. I really want to get the real version of this. When I ordered this, I did not realize that I was getting a knockoff, so I sincerely apologize for the fact that I now have a knockoff deck, but it's like really super duper tiny. That being said, TinyHandsTarot. I have small hands, but I do want to get the full deck because the pictures are so pretty. What does Leo need to know for October 2019? Oh no. They're also super duper duper slippery. Unfinished Symphony. Yep. Unfinished Symphony. This is really interesting. It has a very different color scheme than the other two cards. I get the sense that this is very much about you. It could be about this relationship. Perhaps things were broken, you're in separation, no communication, and that conversation is going to be the thing that sets you free. I don't necessarily think it's going to be coming back together reunited. It could be. I'm never going to, never say never. But I do think that I just get the sense that this is like, hey girl, guy, individual that I'm talking to, your story isn't over. The symphony isn't done. It hasn't been written yet. Like, you're in the process and it's going to take a while. So get comfy with uncertainty and try to enjoy this ride, because there is so much more coming. So there's two birds, and as I talked about in the other readings, these birds can represent, two birds often represent past and future. But she's not looking at those. She's chilling on the egg, right? And she's playing some music and looks super duper content to enjoy exactly what's happening right now. Really, really focusing on yourself, shifting your focus away from waiting on that communication, which may or may not come, or figuring out what it is that you need to do in order to speak your truth. But yeah, Unfinished Symphony. There's something big around the corner for you. Ooh, excited. I know a few Leos, and it makes me very excited for them. Ooh, okay, Unfinished Symphony. Love it. We're gonna do one from Wisdom of the Avalon, and then we're gonna be done because this is already 32 minutes. Oh my goodness. Does Leo need to know? Interesting reading, Leo. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Reach out if you want your own reading. The mystery. Yes. Okay. So this is very much speaking to the Unfinished Symphony card, where it's just like getting as comfortable as you possibly can, Leo, with uncertainty. I know you really want to move forward. Like, come on. We got the 8 of Wands twice on your reading, 2 times. Really, really wanting movement, really, really wanting to move forward with your life, maybe with your brand, with whatever your creative idea is, and just being like, oh my goodness gracious, why are the matters of the heart getting in the way right now? We don't know. It's the great mystery, right? It's the big cosmic joke. It's like how incredibly wonderful it all is, and yet at times it can be so frustrating and painful. So at this point, really, really just trying to take a moment as you're going into the heart space, being like, it's not just about this other person. It's not just about relationships of past or current. Yeah, the unfinished symphony. We just don't know yet. Things are yet to be revealed. A change in the wind is coming. It's very exciting. All right, thank you so much, Leo. If you do want your own read, the information will be in the description box below. Sending you lots of love, and I will see you soon.